creatives, and innovators. The value of an idea lies in the using of it. Something that isn't mentioned that often is that the function of TE is very innovative because it's constantly searching and scanning for better ways to do something. Being innovative is not always about creating something new from scratch. It can also be finding things that already exist, then applying them in new ways, which TE does all the time. This means that ESTJs have an interesting function stack. Dominant TE and third slot NE, two highly creative functions in their own way. Then wedged in between those two is SI. So they are a thinking type that's probably the most balanced in terms of creativity and pragmatism, innovation and implementation, ideation and execution, between ambition and practicality. ENTJs and ENTPs will both run the risk of pushing the boat out too far, being overly ambitious at the expense of being realistic at times. INTJs and INTPs might be overly intuitive, much slower to action, and less driven to get things done. ESTJs, then, are surprisingly balanced in certain ways. This might be one of the reasons why they're often underrated. Sometimes it's almost like someone needs to come across as extreme in a certain area in order for them to be appreciated for that trait. Whereas if you're balanced and well-adjusted, then you're more overlooked and undervalued. So ESTJs are way more creative and innovative than people often make them out to be. Playful. People rarely succeed unless they have fun in what they are doing. Both the STJ types are stereotypically seen as being quite dry, clinical in their approach to life, and even somewhat boring. Of course, this is silly and wrong. ESTJs are excellent storytellers and hilarious conversationalists. I think their reputation comes from the fact that they can appear to be all work often. It's fair to say that they are work-first kinds of people, but since they almost always actually get their work done, they have plenty of time to play as well. And they do. They have that interpersonal energy and wit to be ultra engaging. In social situations, they're going to feel totally comfortable, taking charge and pushing the conversation forward. So ESTJs are extremely engaging people who are just as much in the mold of being playful entertainers as any other type. People focused. An acquaintance merely enjoys your company. A fair weather companion flatters when all is well. A true friend has your best interests at heart and the pluck to tell you what you need to hear. Almost everything ESTJs do is for other people. Whichever way you slice it, this holds true much of the time. High TI or FI users, for example, can spend a huge amount of time focusing on their interests, hobbies, going down all sorts of rabbit holes, sometimes being totally fine with other people, not even knowing about the insights they've had or the things they've made. Do ESTJs have things they do just for themselves? Obviously, yes. But TE as a function is focused on improving things. If a system or process can be made better, then it should be. But ultimately, it's people who have to use those systems. If something is now more efficient, effective, more well organized, and just does the job better, quicker, and with less cost, then everybody benefits from that. This gives ESTJs a curious kind of empathy. I've used the example before of my mother who, when entering a room, has the habit of rearranging things in her mind, or sometimes literally as well. Maybe the furniture isn't placed optimally, or it takes too many steps to do an activity that you would often need to do in that room, or the workflow is being disrupted for some reason. These things are noticed almost instinctively, but technically, they are people-focused. It's thinking, how well would a person function in this situation? If I put myself in your shoes, knowing what's important to you, how does this room, or process, or system, or just way of doing things actually work for you? And how can I make it better for you? So I think that ESTJs are one of the types who are most focused on people and helping them, yet are the least appreciated for it, which is kind of an annoying irony.